What's up, everybody? It's your girl Songbird, and I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of Room 1002. Y'all know what it's all about. I'm here showcasing the hottest up-and-coming artist right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Today's special guest is a multi-talented individual that I've had the opportunity to see in several creative spaces. This man composes, he records, he raps, he plays an instrument, and he's the founder of the Mosaic Group, which is an Atlanta-based multimedia production company. I want you guys to help me welcome to the room, Sir Carey.
Hey, that was a cool introduction. Thank you.
I appreciate that. I practiced it the whole way here.
I appreciate it. It was good, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Absolutely, Carey. Listen, I just want to tell them a little bit about how we met because I really thought it was a really interesting experience for the both of us. Mm-hmm. We're at Botanical Gardens. I don't even know how you got that gig, but I want to hear about how you got the gig. But I'm at Botanical Gardens with my internship, the Atlanta, the tasting. That's what it was, the tasting. And I'm like, I hear somebody playing like R&B, but it sounds like it's coming from a string instrument. Mm-hmm. So I'm literally walking around this garden trying to find where this sound is coming from. I pop in this room and you're in here amongst a very elevated group of people, a different crowd of people, but I mean you're the only one in there jamming. So then you and I are now the only two people in here jamming, bobbing and weaving, and I just felt like I had to stop you and tell you how creative you are and how much I liked your sound. And I just want you to talk to me about how you even got in that space to begin with.
It's an interesting thing, but I'll say usually I pop up in random places like that all the time. But the person who got me that gig at the Botanical Gardens was my brother Justin.
Okay.
His AKA Masterpiece is his artist name.
Okay.
And he's crazy, phenomenal trumpet player. I think he plays flugelhorn as well.
Okay.
Super cool cat, but he's actually really big into agriculture. So that event was hosted by this company called
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
And so he was super cool. He's been growing a whole bunch, and he's doing like some management stuff with that association.
Okay.
And he was in charge of putting all of the entertainment, kind of organizing logistics for the event. And so me and him been homies for years, and so he just hit me up, hey man, I got a slot for you, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah, Botanical Gardens, come on, slide in, show them the culture.
Listen, I'm in there like, I love how when black people see each other in public and there may not be as many black people in your presence, it's like, I see you over there, and I saw you see me, I saw you, I said, yeah, we have to have a conversation.
Exactly, yeah.
Just because we're the two people in there. But no, listen, it made me, I immediately was able to catch your vibe, and I'm like, yo, I have to have this man on the show. So I'm so grateful that I finally got you in here and got you able to sit down with me.
Yeah, and I'm just so thankful too that you walked up and said something that came to vibe, man. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. That's how we stay connected is, I got this going thing, especially when we're in environments where there's not a lot of us. I will always show respect, show love, get the head nod, what up, G, all of that. Especially because, we're out here at the end of the day, we're out here trying to be our best versions of ourselves.
Absolutely.
And it's just good to get that acknowledgement from someone like you, So I don't know, it was super cool. So I appreciate all of that to say. I appreciate you walking.
Well, I'm glad that we had that exchange, man. I'm gonna start you off with a question that I ask all of my artists. I just feel like it gives the artist the opportunity to be their most authentic self and really kick off the interview. I want you to tell us, and I don't know if do you want me to say your whole name or do you just go by Carey?
I just go by Carey.
Carey, okay. So I want you to tell us, who is Carey?
Oh, wow, it's a loaded question. Well, it isn't very loaded. It's pretty simple who I am. I am an artist.
Yeah.
Through and through. I know that could be a kind of loaded thing, but I have lots of different tools per se, whether it be my violin, whether it be a camera, whether it be a piece of audio gear. And as an artist, I use all of those tools like paintbrushes to bring a vision to life. So in a simple sense, that's what I am. I'm an artist from Atlanta.
I really love that. Can you talk to me about how an artist from Atlanta becomes a violinist in Atlanta? Like, how did you even get exposed to this instrument?
Well, I do. The violin is a very interesting instrument, and you don't see a lot of black people playing it.
That's why I'm asking.
So I have my parents to thank for that.
That is awesome.
Mother, I'm one of four. I have an older brother, 7 years older than me, 33. Brother, 7 years older than me. Got two younger sisters, love them to death. And my parents started all of us at a very young age on violin.
That's how I plan to be.
And you totally should. And I tell all the kids that I've taught before, I just send praises to their parents.
Yeah.
It's because of my parents that I kind of found a love and stuck to it.
Absolutely.
And it kind of became a part of me after that. But yeah, they started me on violin lessons every Monday. My mother would drive me up to myself and my siblings up to go take violin lessons every week. And it was a thing. I ain't gonna front. I wasn't no like prodigy or nothing like that.
Okay.
It was a chore. My parents, they weren't like tyrants about it, but you got practice for a half hour every day.
Absolutely.
And I was like, man, you know, kids be brutally honest in middle school and elementary school. I don't want to do this. But it was actually in middle school where, you know, after a while, you just start getting associated with the instrument.
Yeah.
It's just like, Carey, that's the dude who play violin.
Absolutely.
And so as I got older, and I just really started falling in love with music, and that was my tool to create. And so after a while, I just started, you know, just internalizing it and letting it be. It's like, yo, I'm a violinist out
Yeah, that's how you have to be.
I never put it down. It's just kind of now at this point, I use that instrument out of necessity.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you that because I know that you are in several different avenues as far as talent goes. You know, like you said, you're composing, which I want to know how you got started composing, which I'm sure that comes from playing that violin. But even just that idea of being in media, like when did you discover that you had all of these talents? And, you know, would you say that any of them are more dominant than the other? Like, are some, like you said, out of necessity? Or are they all truly like passions of yours?
I would say, okay, so I'll start first. The violin is definitely the strongest of suits.
Okay.
I like to make analogies all the time, and like, that violin is my way of speaking. And I feel like I'm very eloquent in speaking through that instrument.
Yes.
And those other crafts, such as photography and videography, I haven't been doing them as long.
Okay.
So my quote-unquote vocabulary in the context of a camera is not as elaborate as my violin.
Right.
Just because I've been playing violin much longer. But I would say, definitely to answer your question, is violin is definitely the most dominant. I'm just more comfortable. I'm quick to brag.
Yeah.
I'm good at this. But videography and photography, while I'm great at it, those are crafts that I've been having to work and practice on over time. I'm at a professional level, but I can't improv on the camera as much as I can on
I understand. I understand that. So let's talk a little bit about the Mosaic group, right? So when did you decide to take those skills, that videography, that photography, and kind of craft this group where you're now doing this work for other people?
A lot of things kind of started it. My father used to be a photographer, so that was kind of my natural way into the camera. So
your family is just very talented.
Yeah. he like won awards for photography and all of that. And I had a corporate job for years. I was tenured in ironically, a food service company. I was doing media and training for that company.
Okay.
Didn't really have anything to do with my major, but yeah, I quit that to first do music. And my mentality with getting your hustle on and working out in the Atlanta area and just being a freelance person in general, I don't like to be closed-minded. Again, when we're in this avenue, when we're working in music and media, there's a lot of facets to it.
Yes.
And you can choose to, I don't knock anybody with no job, but you can make it out. You can work out here and get work, but you have to not be narrow-minded. And I used to teach college, like I taught college level, audio, violin, all of that. But getting to the Mosaic group, all of that kind of came into fruition because I was surrounded by people who were doing these things.
Yeah.
In videography, photography. And I was also working on the craft myself. And then even in audio engineering, I was working with all of these crazy top-notch engineers who were doing corporate and music, and I'm cool with them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, why don't I just put an LLC together? And okay, cool, I'll start out doing some of this work, but as I get bigger and bigger projects that are bigger than the facets of what I can do by myself, I'll shoot that work to my guy over here who I know is a master photographer.
Yeah, that's how you elevate the community. Man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that's the whole point of what is a mosaic? A mosaic is like, you see these marble tiles and you they're like shattered, and you put them together, and when you zoom out,
beautiful masterpiece.
make a big
Absolutely.
masterpiece. So that's kind of the whole idea of the company and why I started it. I was like, I'm around all these dope masters of their craft, and I'll start the fire with the little bit of skills that I have in this stuff. But ultimately, when we get bigger projects, I can bring those guys onto the team, and together we can make that vision.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that you have community around you, because every time that I see you, you're definitely in the mix with other indie artists and other, entrepreneurs out here in Atlanta. Where in your journey did you kind of discover like that community is one of the most important parts of doing this thing? Because the world will tell us like, you're a musician, you have to focus on yourself, you have to push yourself. But even I can attest to, one day just looking up like, I cannot do this show by myself. So when did you really kind of come across that idea and really put all that together?
I would say soon after I got out of college.
Okay.
And it's I guess too it's a maturity thing. Like as you get older, you start. And it's just life. Like you go through life, and the world will let you know what you can't do.
I'm trying
That's
to tell you.
for sure. Like circumstances, Murphy, all of that. Like it's a constant reminder that teamwork made the dream work. That sounds cliche, but it's so true. Like even with my violin skills, if it wasn't for all the way back in middle school, if it weren't for the teachers having support, understanding that kids can be brutally honest, they might tease you for playing a string instrument.
Right.
The adults would be like, you know what, screw all of that. We're gonna put you in front of all of the adults at a concert and make you play the solo.
Yeah.
And what are all them grown-ups gonna do? Oh my God, you should keep going. That positive reinforcement. That took a community. That took my parents when I was young to really focus on supporting my growth. That took my classmates in college to be really cool and build those bonds and friendships and all of that to an extent where now that I'm in the real world freelancing, I'm working with the same cats that I went to college with.
Yeah.
And then like being positive around people, whether it be in church, whether it be the smallest of gigs. That's how I met you.
Yeah.
And now we doing a whole interview, which is super cool, and spreading the vibes off of your awesome audience. Like I think that's so cool. The value of community, the value of really carrying yourself in a positive way and understanding and seeing how that can permeate into so much.
Absolutely. And what would you say is your favorite part about being out here in this community of creatives? Atlanta is a pool of creativity, man. And it's interesting because a lot of people here now aren't even natives. So we're literally being influenced by this entire country, really this entire world. People come from all over just to live right here and be a creative. What would you say is your favorite part about being in the Atlanta music scene?
Man, it's definitely a melting pot out here now.
Yeah.
And I love that. So many different mindsets. My favorite part is just being in the midst of it and this whole media platform being my way to connect with.
Absolutely.
Like, I can talk all day, and some people I vibe out with, like you, super cool. Other people, I don't know, it can be a little awkward to small talk with people.
Definitely.
Music and media, that's my way of connecting.
Same.
I'm so much more fluent in that.
Yeah.
So being in the midst of all of this culture out here and people experiencing what we do, that's what I live for.
Yeah. I love that. Well, Carey, listen, I can tell that you're very passionate about your work and you work really hard. I've seen you in a lot of different spaces just from the time that we met. It's probably only been about 2 months maybe. But I did also just see you take a vacation, which I'm very jealous of. This year it was not nice to me as far as taking vacations, but I just want you to talk a little bit about what and why you find the value in stepping back. Right? Taking that space to stop and really be just a person. Not an artist, not a creative, I'm not here for content, I'm just relaxing. Why did you feel like you needed to take that time and just decompress like that?
All right, well first, I have to be totally transparent with you, and you'll probably laugh.
Okay.
I was actually working on that cruise.
Oh,
I was working.
And cut. No, I'm
but there was a lot of work. I was actually running sound. It was a Kiss cruise at
Oh, wow.
Kiss. And it's like a festival on a cruise type of thing. And and I was running sound for one of the stages that was on the ship. And so
look at you.
It's super cool.
That's super
man, cool. It was I learned a whole lot. Really good experience. But going back to your question, because I did live it up. You saw I was living it up.
I'm like, you don't make me look too bad.
No. So, and I made a point. Like I was working, but I spent money to really have some time for myself during that. And going to why that's so necessary, because this stuff, it drains you. Like I will say music is a necessity for me, and it fuels me in a lot of ways. But getting up early, these production gigs, you got 6:30 a.m. call times, and you gotta go out and lob up people. Some people are cool, some people are not. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with even on that cruise, it's very high strung. You gotta be sharp, and it can be fatiguing at times. So I made a point, and because it's so necessary, you gotta take a step sometimes. You gotta take a break and recharge. Absolutely. Whether that's socially, whether that's artistically, whether that's whatever, and you gotta make time for it. Just as much as whatever you're longing for the most, you need to rest. Take time to chill out, breathe. I do yoga. I went and worked out this morning. That's my me time.
Yeah, same.
So I can be cool and giving you good vibes for this interview type thing. So it's very important to do that. So.
Well, I'm glad you came with good vibes. I'm glad that you've enjoyed yourself up until this point. Carey, I want to know what's coming up next for you.
Oh, a few things. So I just released a collaboration video with my brother Mark Baldwin, aka Musical Minds. Check me out on Instagram, all of that. We've been collaborating and releasing singles. Okay. Kind of like seasonally. So as things get colder during the holiday season, probably around the January time, we'll be releasing another single. So that's a collaboration between myself and Mark. Myself, I'm also doing my own original music. Been working on this for a long time, but finally it's starting to get to a point where it's finished. So be looking out for that. I'll be releasing some original tunes, kind of like a jazz, funk, a little bit of blues type of cat.
I can dig it.
And then, and then last but not least, another thing that's in the works is I had 2 big performances where I linked up with a full 5-piece band. And
that's cool.
We did some original tunes as well as some covers, and I hired my videography people to come out and film that.
That's
so I've been releasing small snippets on the timeline and stuff, but the full shows, so this is 2 shows. One was out in LJ and the other one was out in Alpharetta. And those 2 filmed programs will be released within the first quarter of 2023.
Yes, and why is that right around the corner, man?
It's coming tomorrow.
I mean, like I blinked and I'm like, wow, the year is over. Mm-hmm. Well, listen, Carey, I really want to thank you for coming out to Room 1002 today. Before we wrap it up, I want you to tell the people where they can follow you, where they can support you, all of that.
Appreciate it. Well, guys, you can find me anywhere on the social media platforms, minus TikTok. I gotta work on that, but hey,
never too old.
Never too old. But Instagram, YouTube, what's that other platform? Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I don't know it, but mainly Instagram and YouTube. Carey CAREY _Durham is my personal music page, and then my business page for the Mosaic Group on Instagram is at CD Mosaic. That's CD, my initials, MOSAIC. And I'm on YouTube. Just search my name, Carey Durham, Mosaic Group, my website. Can you spell your last name for us? Durham, DURHAM.
Just in case everybody cannot spell.
I know. CAREY DURHAM. And then my website is cdmosaic.com. So check me out. Again, Grier, thank you so much for having me.
No, listen, thank you for coming. Y'all already know what I'm going to say. Thank you guys for continuing to support Room 1002. Do not forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. Help me get this thing monetized. I love doing this work. I love sharing these artists with you guys. And if you like the platform, I need your support. Don't forget, if you know any artists who deserve the opportunity to sit across from me in this chair, you want to click down below in the description box and submit their name to the artist suggestion box. Somebody did it. I keep saying that, like in every interview so far, I've had to be like, somebody's gonna do it. I want to look, somebody did it.
Nice.
Your friend's gonna be very grateful, and I can't wait to have them on the show. Until next time, you guys, peace.